can do. It's a business model built upon relationships and teamwork. And the reality is, we all know people. When we find something that we know and love, we're going to share it with people. It's our natural way. It's just who we are as human beings. Some people say, I don't like to sell, but you do. You sell things all the time. And the reality is, it just, you earn by sharing products you love, and these products are changing people's lives. We experience this every single day, and so we love it when we have the opportunity to be able to share what these amazing products are doing and the impact that they're having. Now, tonight, we're not going to go into a lot into the products themselves. We have our product webinars and that are done by David. This one is really designed to be more of a training focused around how to build a LifeWave business. The other thing that's amazing about this industry is it gives you flexibility. You can actually work a job and be able to keep that lifestyle going, but you can add, again, a little bit of business that you can do in between time in those little pockets of your day that can help kind of give you, I guess, your side gig or something that's going to be able to help bring in that, maybe that little extra money. You know, what we find is, for a lot of people, just that $200, maybe $300 additional each month can be the difference of being able to make it through the month and be able to pay all the bills versus not. And so it's a great way and to be able to find those little pockets of your day to be able to get that and be able to earn those types of things, for that. The other thing that's beautiful about it is it's a low-cost startup. It's really easy to get started, and there's unlimited potential, which means you can actually grow your business as large as you're willing to put the effort into. And sometimes it takes a little time as well. But either way, the only way to fail in network marketing or at LifeWave is by quitting. Okay. Why people love network marketing? Well, it's more than just a lifestyle. So again, people want to be their own boss. Most people nowadays, especially the younger generations, are not interested in doing the 9-to-5 grind. And if that's you, or if that's people that you know, that this is something that might become appealing to them. It builds a global business from your phone. I mean, you can literally, think about, I'm looking for my phone here. But think about our phones and the impacts that they've had on our lives, for good and for bad. But this phone can be all the difference in being able to be successful in building a LifeWave business. And the contacts and the people that you have in there really are enough to be able to help you to reach whatever level you want. And of course, it gives you the opportunity to surround yourself with positive, like-minded people. Now, does that mean that everyone that comes into network marketing is always positive and like-minded, or maybe there's bad examples out there as well? But what we do find the majority of people are positive people. They're like-minded people. They're entrepreneurs that are out there trying to succeed, and they're willing to help others as they go along. And in fact, they're rewarded to help others as they go along. And of course, get paid for helping others succeed. There isn't really any other opportunity out there where by you helping someone else succeed only helps you succeed even more. If they don't succeed, you can't succeed. And so it's really in your best interest to help your team members and the people that you introduce to LifeWave to succeed. And it's a beautiful model because of that. Now, we also have the blessing of being a company that is built on technology. And, David Schmidt, who's our founder, and I'll share a little bit more information on him in just a moment, has over 200 patents. Over 80 just on the X39 technology alone. And so our products are patented, they're proven that they work, and they are making a difference. We're also vertically integrated, which means that we control the process from the time that it is manufactured to the time it gets to your door. We can control that process, and we are thrilled to be able to offer that kind of service to everybody that is here at LifeWave. Now, we also are led by an amazing person whose name is David Schmidt. He is our founder. He is the chairman of the board, and he is someone unlike anyone that I've ever met. And that's not to, and I don't say that lightly. He really is. And when we take a look at what he's created and the technology he has created here and the technology he is looking to create in the future, or has already created, but is bringing out in the future, we could know that we are in a great place and the right place at the right time. The company is 20 years old, but we honestly feel like we're just getting started. And with the technology that's already been announced and will be rolled out here over the next few months, it is going to be a game changer for our industry and just for people's health in general. And we know, because of our experience, that we really can trust everything that David has provided us, and the things that we are taking out to the world are going to make a difference. And the beautiful thing, especially, I'll just use our new water machine that will be rolled out here in the next few months. 100% of people benefit from it. That's what the studies have shown. Not 97% or even 80%, but 100%. And so again, you can have confidence in what he's creating. And the thing I love about it as well, and this is something he mentioned last week, and I think it's something that we can really hold our hats on, and that is this. You know, he is so grateful for what everyone here at LifeWave has provided him so that he can live the life that he wants to live. And that life is to be an inventor. It's to be able to create new technologies. It's better ways to be able to help our world. And because we allow that, he wants to build a business that is a generational business, something that will stand the test of time. And so when you look at the new technology he's bringing out, our new compensation plan, he really is setting the company up for the future, not just today and the incredible growth we're seeing now, but for a long time into the future. And so we can have a lot of confidence in the future and what it brings for us. This is a picture of our office when we first, our kind of our grand opening here of our office, and we were able to bring in a couple hundred of our brand partners. But this just kind of shows you the beautiful location that we're located in here in Draper, Utah, which is where I'm at right now. My office is literally on the fifth floor and the top floor of the building, and you can't quite see it in this picture, but it's just a little bit further over on the side here. But anyway, it's a beautiful location. We certainly are blessed to have the opportunity to be here and have this great location. We've also been able to hit many awards. In fact, just this year, we won 2 more Bravo awards through the direct sales news. One was for being the fastest, one of the fastest growing companies in our industry. We've received that now for 2 years in a row, but we can honestly say that we're one of the fastest growing over the last 4, not even just 4, it's 5 years now. And LifeWave just hit in the top 25. We actually went from number 32 in the top 100 largest companies in our industry, and that was in 2024 in 2023, and in 2024 we jumped all the way up to number 22, and we're expecting to see another big jump coming up in 2025 just due to the success and the growth that we're seeing. And so we again are so grateful for everything that you're doing to make LifeWave so amazing, and we're certainly grateful that you're here to help us as we build this growth. Now, we're in over 82 countries and growing. You can kind of see here all the different countries we're in. You know, the thing I like about this is it shows us kind of where the manufacturing is. It shows us where the offices are, but it also shows us in all the countries that we currently are in and the ones we have distribution in. So we truly are a global company. And because of the incredible growth that we've seen over the last number of years, since 2018, we've grown over 3,000%. That's incredible. Some companies don't see 3,000% in their whole company's growth, but let alone, to be able to see that in a time period towards the later end of this 20 years is nothing short of amazing. And we are so grateful for that, but also know that we have a great responsibility still ahead of us. The other thing I love is the fact is, because I'm over the U.S., that we are 60% of the company. So the U.S. is definitely taking a large leadership role in the growth of LifeWave. And of course, we intend to kind of keep that going, but certainly love seeing it expand all over the world. And we're certainly grateful for what we're doing. Now we're going to jump into what our main topic of tonight is now, and that is our 5 steps to success. These are the steps that we believe are going to help you get started in a more generic way, not all the specific details. You can get that from the person who enrolled you on the different ways to maybe talk to and share information with people. But what this will do is give you a good starting point, the things that you should know and learn, and the things maybe aren't as important as you're getting started. So number 1, we're going to talk into is plugging into your resources. What are the first things you should be plugging into and learning as you get going? Number two is identifying your why. What is your purpose? Why is it that you're doing this? And what kind of an impact do you want to have? Number three is set your first goal. What is the first goal you should be setting? What should you be focusing your time and effort on? And then setting your actions and your schedule. What actions, what daily actions should you be taking, and what kind of impact should those be having as you grow your business? And then making sure that you schedule them into your time, because oftentimes if you don't schedule it in, it doesn't happen. So make sure you schedule, making sure you're scheduling it in, and then of course track daily and stay consistent. And that one by itself might be the most important topic we'll talk about all tonight, and that is that staying consistent part of it. Sorry about that. I got a little bit of a hiccup there. Okay, let's jump into step number one, which is plugging into your resources. So let's talk about first things first. And each of you, when you joined LifeWave, would have set up a login name or a business name, as well as a password. And that business name and password are what's going to give you access to what we call your member back office, or your MBO. When you go in and take a look at it, this is what it looks like. If you have a little bar there at the top, as you can see here, we have a number of different topics that you can go into here. You have a power bar here where you can actually go through and click through some of the different, it'll actually just flow through automatically, switch out every few seconds. But you can go through and look up what's the latest and greatest information here. And then each of these other areas just gives you some tools and tips on where you're at with your rank and other things to be able to make so you can see your activity. And of course, in this section here now, we have our new training resources, which is something I'm going to challenge you to go to and make sure you have access to, because some of the new videos for our new compensation plan and trainings and that are all right there. And there's going to be more information loaded on a regular basis. So we are very excited to be able to make sure that you have access to that as well. Now, when you click on this section here for your rank, it's going to give you a tracker to see how you're doing on whatever your next rank is. And if you're just getting started, that first rank would be manager. And so when you come in here and you look at the manager rank, in this case here, it's showing you're 75% there. And each one of these areas, if it has a red X, it means you haven't quite met that requirement yet. But when you do get that red, then when it's showing all green ticks, you then become that rank. And of course, in this case, it's manager. So this area section here gives you kind of some basic information, and it actually does look a little bit different. We did just recently update this a few weeks ago. So it actually is a little bit easier to understand the different elements of it. But I can say this is that it still gives you a way to track it so that you can see exactly where you're at in the new process. And as soon as we transition to compensation 2.0, which will probably be a month and a half away, you're probably looking at this will then be updated with the new ranks and opportunities that go along with that as well. Another area to click on is this event section. So at the top bar in your back office, you could just click on the events. This would then take you into the event section where you can go in and look up all the different events and trainings that LifeWave has going on. So as an example, tonight's our new member webinar. We also have a number of other webinars that we do, as well as other events. We have our conference coming up, which is something you want to make sure you can get to. If you haven't already bought your convention or conference tickets, it's going to be in October, the 22nd through the 24th. You want to make sure you're there. It's going to be incredible. David Schmidt loves putting on a big party, and he loves rolling out the new technology and more information. And so if you haven't been to one before, you got to make sure you're at this one. We believe that we'll probably be sold out in the near future. So this is going to be a great opportunity to make sure you get all the latest and greatest information. But we know that it's going to be something that you want to get to. And there's also going to be some incredible performers. Last year we had Gwen Stefani and Maroon 5, and this year we haven't announced it yet. But I guarantee once we do announce it, we will sell out of tickets. So make sure you get yours long before that happens, because you do not want to miss out. Okay. You can also go into your resource section, and the resource section here gives you all the information that you need, all the trainings, all the marketing materials, the compensation plan information, the tutorials. I mean, everything that is in LifeWave that you need to know, document-wise or video-wise, can be found in your resource section. And we're going to continually build this out as we move into the next few months with the new compensation. But we also are going to be looking at really upgrading this probably early 2026. And so there'll be more information, more amazing things that are happening that you do not want to miss out on. And so making sure that you have access to this information as we continually make this a better tool for you and more information. But one of the things I wanted to point out here are right here we have these 10 little video clips. And this is a great place when you're just getting started to go take a look and watch these getting started tools. You can watch the full video or just part of it, but it's a great place to go to be able to watch that. And we'll touch on that in just a moment. So yes, the question has come up. I think I did have the dates wrong. So it is actually October 23rd through the 25th. I was off by one day. But so thanks for updating on that. But yes, it is October. There is an event in August, but that is not a corporate event. That's a team event. So if you're wanting to go to that one, certainly you can. But the LifeWave event that I've been talking about is October 23rd through the 25th. Okay, I'm glad we got that cleared up so that there's no confusion. Okay. This is another thing I like to do is to click on, and when we just mentioned earlier that we're in 80 countries, you can actually click on the United States, which if you're coming in from the US, if you're coming in from Canada, you can certainly click on the flag, and it's going to pop up with every country that we're in. And so I love every so often just to kind of pull it up and just kind of look through all the different countries. And it's a long list. It just goes to show that we are truly an international business. All right. So number one, when we're talking about first things first, making sure that you have a monthly subscription order. This is where you can make sure that you have your order. It guarantees your better health. You don't want to run out of product when you're on a health pathway. If you run out and you don't have it and you can kind of slow down the process, and you don't ever want to do that if you can help it. It's also convenient, which means that you just know it's going to be coming. You don't have to think about it. But also when you're looking at the compensation plan, it helps you to stay active so you don't miss out on any commissions. And nobody wants to miss out if they're sharing this on a regular basis. So you don't want to miss out on any of the commissions. And we don't want you to either. We want you to get paid. Now, the easiest way to set this up is when you go into the normal shopping cart, you just go, this is what it looks like here. At the very bottom of every product order, it has this darker blue bar that says, add to your monthly subscription order. When you click on that, it's going to automatically add it to your shopping cart. When you go in and click on the shopping cart, it's going to allow you to then set up your auto ship from there. And so it's a great way. And of course, we put the performance bundle up here because it's probably our most popular auto ship option. Of course, you can choose anything you would like, but this is just to give you an example of one option of how to add that to your auto ship. Number two is set up your iPayout payment portal. Now, each of you should receive an email as soon as you earn a commission that's going to give you access to log in. And when you log into that information, and when you get your login information and go to that, it's going to look similar to this. This gives you the opportunity to withdraw the funds and to put it directly into your bank account, or you can put it on a prepaid card which would then be mailed to you that you could then use like a credit card, and whatever funds that you put on that card, you don't have to put all the funds on the card, or you could have it all transferred there. It's up to you. And then you could use that as you travel around town and you want to pay for dinner or you want to buy something with it. You can just use it that way as well. So there's a number of different ways you can use the funds that you gain from LifeWave as you earn commissions. But this is just one. This is what it would look like as you set it up. And of course, if you have any questions or information on that, maybe you didn't get the email or anything else like that, of course, you can call our customer service team, or if you can email them at customerservice@lifewave.com, and they can make sure the email gets resent to you. And that way you can make sure you don't miss out on any commissions. Now, you don't actually ever miss out on it. It's still going to sit in your account, but you don't have access to it until you set it up. And of course, we want you to have access to it. Okay. The other thing you want to do is opt into our newsletters. Make sure that you're getting all the latest and greatest information. We send a newsletter out every single month, and we do it in many different languages in many different countries. And you can actually register for all of them if you would like, or just the ones that you're interested in. So for those of you who are in the US, we have an English web newsletter that comes out every single month. Of course, as you can see here, Europe has one that they do. They do it in English, but they also do it in many other languages. And Asia does as well. And so if you have friends and family that might live in some of those countries, you may choose to get those newsletters so you know what's going on there. Or you can just choose the ones for the market that you're in. Whatever works for you, and as many of those as you like to, you just click on when you go to your resource section, you click on resources, you go to the email list for members, and then you can just click on any market that you want, and it will give you the information that you need to register at that point. You put in basically a little bit of personal details, click enter, and it sends it through, and you're set up to start getting emails from LifeWave. So we're excited about being able to provide that information to you on a monthly basis. All right. You also want to add the LifeWave Connect to your calendar. So we have 2 webinars that are global webinars that we do every single month. The first one is our LifeWave Connect product webinar. It's always the first Wednesday of the month. Occasionally it gets bumped just due to David Schmidt's schedule, but this is where you have a chance to listen to the founder and the inventor of the LifeWave products every single month, talk about the amazing products in one way or another. Maybe it's on a specific patch, maybe it's on a specific area of the body, but each month is a different topic where he shares more and more information about our incredible products and what he did to help create those. And, and it's oftentimes interview style between Wayne Moorhead, who's our Senior Vice President of our marketing team, and David Schmidt. And again, you do not want to miss those. Those are kind of a must do if you're going to be here at LifeWave. And I will admit, that's how you get it's a rare opportunity because very few founders that I've ever seen in the world have been willing to do a monthly webinar every single month on the products. And so we're blessed to have that. Now, the third Wednesday of each month, we also do our LifeWave Connect our business webinar. So this is a business focus. And so this one is more just for brand partners, where the LifeWave Connect product could actually be shared with customers as well. They can hop in and find out more about the products. And then of course, if it's a product that they hadn't used before, they may choose to buy it. And so it's just a good tool to help expand your customers' in knowledge about the products. Now, each of these webinars is done at 2 different times during the day. At 11 a.m. Pacific time, we do our English, our US and European languages. So we always do everything in English, but of course we also do it in French, German, Italian, Polish, Romanian, and Portuguese. I need to add that to this list. We also do it in Portuguese. Now, the evening session, which is at 6 p.m., we do that one in our U.S. languages as well as our Asia languages. I'll get that out. And so because we do English and Spanish, we do English and Spanish at that time. We do Chinese, Japanese, Thai, as well as Korean. And so, again, these are just amazing tools that you can use, amazing webinars. And the thing I love about to give you a little bit more information about the business webinar, we always have one of our top leaders come on and talk about what they did to be successful in their business and go on a specific topic, which could be, what they did to bring new people into their business, or how do they introduce a new person? How do they train leadership in their business? So there's always different topics each month where we focus on different things. And so again, well worth connecting in and making sure that you and your team and of course, business all across the world can access these in their own local languages, as long as it's one of the ones that we talked about. Okay. We also have social media pages. This is our LifeWave Business Builders page. This is our North America page. There are other ones for Europe and Asia as well, but this one is the one we have set up for North America. So if you're in the US, Canada, or Mexico, this is a great one to use. I think Mexico also has one as well, but this one we try to keep all our information together here. So if you want to use that QR code, you certainly can. To be able to get access to that, or just take a picture of it, and then you can use it later on. We also have our corporate Instagram page. And so you can use the Instagram page here as well to be able to keep up to date on all the information. And so again, the QR code is here that you can use it to be able to access that as well if you haven't already joined that group. Okay. Now we also have our YouTube page, which is our LifeWave Health page. So if you go to YouTube and type in LifeWave Health, you're going to see this pop up here, and it's going to look just like this. It's going to LifeWave Health with that little X39 circular logo. And once you see that, you know that that's our page. You can click on it. Of course, it gives you access to all the videos that we have uploaded to that. And most of our webinars end up there, especially our business webinars. And occasionally, depending on the topic, we might put the product webinars. If they don't go here into our YouTube page, they will go into your back office. So you will have access to those that way as well. We also have the InTouch app, and we're excited to announce that we'll be coming up with a new option in the very near future. But right now, you do have access to the LifeWave InTouch app, which has a number of different ways that you can use it to be able to help build your business. You can use your phone to be able to download the app. You can do that in either the Apple Store, or you can also do it on Google Store. Either way, they're available in all the different ways. When you click in, it goes into this here where you can watch some trainings, you can watch some information there, but you can also use it to help keep track of your contacts. You can actually upload all your contacts from your phone into the app. That app will then be able to use it so that you can share information to those people. And as you share it, you'll be able to track their progress. So let's say you share a video and they watch it, and as soon as they're finished watching it, you're going to get a message that says, hey, so-and-so just finished watching this video. Now it gives you the ability to be able to follow up as soon as you know that. And the sooner you do that after they watch it, the fresher it is. And so that's why it's so important to keep track. And when you see someone that has watched it, to go and follow up as soon as you can, because that's what makes a lot of difference in their choosing to join LifeWave. And so again, this is a great tool to use, not just for training and information, but also in building your business and sending information out to the people that you care about the most. Okay, so that's step one. And we certainly, let's see, we're already halfway through the hour, a little over halfway through the hour, and we've only gotten to step one. But that one usually does take us the longest. But let's jump into step two, which is identifying your why. And I love this topic a lot because it really helps us to understand the importance of what is your purpose, and what is it, why do you exist? I mean, it's not about some of the fundamental beliefs in our world, like, where are we? Where do we come from? But I'm just talking specifically about you. What your why is your purpose. It's a cause or a fundamental belief. It's the driving force behind all that you do. And so if you can find that you can tie your why, or the purpose that you have, or the focus that you have, to your LifeWave business and wanting to help and help people with their health or their wealth or just their community, that becomes a greater purpose again, and it connects you oftentimes into your heart, which then means when those hard times come, you can power through them and you can work through them, because we all know that we're all going to have those moments, right? So what is a why? Let's talk about this. I like this topic because a why is not money. And a lot of times people think it is. It's not a thing, which means it's not a house. It's not a car. It's not a watch, although all those things are nice. And it's not to say you can't buy those things with the money that you earn. But what I can say is that your why is generally not those things. It's not an action, meaning I'm not going to, if I go to, it's not, or a destination, which means I want to go to this place, or I want to, win something, or I want to, it's all these things that we want to achieve or gain that we oftentimes we want to set goals to aren't really tied to our why. So what is our why? Well, it's your purpose, and more times than not, your why is a person. Oftentimes it could be a spouse, or it could be your children, or someone else that maybe your parents. But a why is usually tied to something along those lines because it's more deep seated, it's more deep rooted in our hearts, which makes us a stronger driving force behind what we're doing. It should also encourage positive emotions, meaning that when you think about it and what your why is, you should get excited about it. You should want to tell everyone about it. You want to be excited about what that purpose is, and it should align with your values. Each of us has a list of values that we believe and we understand, and if we choose a why that doesn't quite align with those, it's never going to quite work for us because it's going to always be in conflict together. And of course, it needs to connect with your heart. So I'll give you an example of this, and I have shared this story before. So if you've heard it before, I apologize, but to me, it just speaks volumes about what a why is and what a why isn't. So this was a conversation I had many years ago now, where we were talking about this exact topic, and I happened to, the gentleman was in the crowd, and it was when I was sharing this, and I said, okay, what is your why? And he said, I want $100,000. I was like, okay, that's pretty specific. What does $100,000 mean to you? Because I knew it wasn't money, even though he said it was. I was like, okay. And he's like, well, because I want to buy a boat. I'm like, okay, 100,000, that's a pretty nice boat, So what does that boat have to mean? And that's why you kind of keep digging a little bit. If you keep saying things that maybe aren't more of your purpose, so we kept digging. And he goes, oh, well, I just remember when I was a kid having just the best memories with my family on the boat. Okay, well, I can start to understand that. So with those moments that you had with your parents are important to you. He goes, well, not just that, but I want to provide those same experiences for my kids. I want to have those same relationships that I had with my parents with my kids. And so I said, okay, so your why really isn't the 100,000. It's really not the boat. It's about having good experiences and having solid experiences with your children. Well, now that you can start to see how that is more tied to a purpose, it's tied to that person, it's tied to creating something in life that's more meaningful, more valuable to you. The 100,000 isn't very valuable to him. What's valuable to him is having that connection with his kids. It's passing on that legacy. And so understanding that his parents passed that legacy to him and he wanted to pass it on to them. And so that's what we're talking about. And of course, every time he talks about it, he would get almost teary-eyed talking about it. And so that's when we're talking about your why. That's what it is. And so pushing towards those types of things. And I love this quote by Mark Twain, which is this: the two most important days in your life are the day that you're born and the day that you find out why you were born. And I love that because understanding why you're on this earth, and maybe LifeWave is an answer for you to help achieve what your goals are. Maybe it's not, and that's okay. Maybe just your goal is to get in a couple $100 extra a month so that you can just make it through. That's okay too. Or maybe you just love the health process and helping other people get better. Whatever that is, it doesn't matter. What's really important is that whatever that why is, that driving force, when it is connected to your business, you can get through the toughest times. And then when you share that with other people, they can oftentimes remind you of that in those moments where you're thinking, this is just maybe a little too hard. And and I guarantee you, in any business, in anything that you do in life that you're driving for, especially the ones that are the most important to you, there's going to be opposition, and there's meant to be opposition. Otherwise, everything would be easy. If I dreamed and believed that I could just become a millionaire and that would just happen tomorrow, well, there'd be no value in that because I didn't learn anything in the process. So opposition is an important part of life. So what is our why? Well, the LifeWave why is we are committed to helping people live well with wellness solutions designed to maximize the future of human potential. We know that human potential is much bigger and much more important as we move into the future than it ever has been in the history of the world. And so if we can help maximize that and do that through wellness solutions, is something that David is very passionate and driven by. And another goal that he has is he wants to bring these products into 1 billion homes. And if that's something that you feel like you can get behind as well, we certainly would love you to tie your why to our why as well. Let's maximize human potential, and let's help get these health and wellness products into 1 billion homes because we know they all need it. There isn't anybody who doesn't want to be younger or feel younger. It doesn't matter what their age is, unless maybe they're, in their teens, or below. But really, when we're talking about what we have to offer, it really is an impact on lives all across the world. Okay, so that is identifying your why. Now, step three is set your first goal. So, what should that first goal look like? Well, your first goal, I love this quote actually, before we jump into what the goal should be, and that is this: what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. Everything should be driven around what you want to become more so than what you want to have. And by if you do it right, that becoming becomes more valuable to you than actually receiving the goal itself. Sometimes when you reach the goal and that's all you're focused on, it can feel a little hollow once you actually get it. But this gives you the opportunity to actually find out that you're actually becoming something hopefully better by achieving and pushing for these type of goals. Okay, so what's your first goal? Well, if you're just getting started, and we kind of showed you a little chart and where you can find how you can look this up in your back office, but is to become a manager. The way you do that is putting two brand partners with at least 180 in volume. That doesn't have to happen all in the first month. If let's say they purchase the next 39 a month, and then maybe and after a few months they get up to 180 BV, that's okay. But once they reach that 180 BV on your right leg or your left leg and maintain at least 55 volume after that, then you have the two on both legs. That's four people total. You become a manager. And this is a really cool thing, because as you start to build that out and as you continue to add people to both of your legs, that's really one of the key tips to everybody about building a LifeWave business is continually putting people in your right leg, putting people in your left leg, personally sponsoring them, keeping personal sponsorship of them as well. I know sometimes people want to think, well, I'm going to help someone else out and give someone away. But with the current plan, even in the old plan as well as the new plan, but more so in the new plan, you want to keep personal sponsorship because there really is some incredible rewards by helping a lot of people. And as you build this, when you hit that manager rank, you're not guaranteed 1,500, but you can earn up to 1,500 in a week as a manager. And one of the other things that you have access to as a manager is 25% matching bonus. And so again, just another, just some great ways that you can, once you hit that manager rank, some of the benefits. So two on your right, two on your left, and you're going to be manager. Now, I will say this, in the new plan, two on your right, two on your left, even though that's not going to be the specific requirements, it's going to probably be, in most cases, enough volume to meet the one-star manager rank right up front. So you don't necessarily have to change a whole lot in the new plan to continually still get the benefits. So ask yourself every day, if I only did 3 things today, what are the actions that will produce the greatest results in moving me closer to my big goals? Now, maybe your big goal is to become a manager. Maybe your big goal is you want to become a senior presidential director, which is the top rank here at LifeWave right now. It doesn't matter what that goal is, but if you don't know the 3 things you need to be doing every single day, then you're going to miss out. And so let's talk a little bit about what those 3 things should be and what that looks like. And that takes us into step number 4, set your actions and your schedule. So let's talk about setting your schedule. Now, this is a little bit of time management, but I will say this, time management by itself is an industry in and of its own. And so this is not designed to be the best time management tips or anything like that, but just to give you some basic details about putting a schedule together. So the first thing you do, and I oftentimes, a lot of people like to do it on a Sunday. So Sunday evening or maybe some point on Sunday, you sit down and you plan your week out. You put your whole to-do list together. And once you kind of have, you know what times, let's say you have a job, you know what times you have to be at your work. And so you kind of put those times in, and then you also know where you might have some pockets in your day, some gaps in your day. And then you can start to fill in all your to-do list things on there. But you want to make sure that you map out time frames for your business. So even if it's 15 minutes, maybe at lunch, or maybe another 15 minutes just after dinner, or maybe you can put an hour in once the kids are in bed. Whatever that looks like, whatever those pockets are, if you can just make sure you're putting a little bit of time in every single day and find ways to notify yourself and remind yourself when those times are, it's more likely that you're going to actually do it and get the benefits of doing it, and making sure that you're doing every little actions every single day. There shouldn't be a day in your calendar where you don't plan in a few business activities. If you don't do that, then you won't stay consistent enough to be able to reach the levels of that you need. Now, if you have a specific day where you miss out and you don't maybe get to your business, that's not going to ruin everything. But certainly the consistent side of it is one of the most important things you can do to be able to build a long-term business. And we always suggest scheduling time for self-improvement. If you're not trying to continually improve yourself, then you're missing out. And so make sure you're always scheduling time to improve, because you can only be, your team is only going to be as good as you are. Now, occasionally you might get someone on your team that is maybe better than you, and that's always a wonderful thing too. But most times, more times than not, your team is only ever as good as you are. So if you're not trying to improve, then you might be not be leading your team or giving your team the full benefits that you can totally offer. Okay. So what are the things that we do? We talked a minute ago about what are the 3 things that we do every single day, and if we did them every single day, that we would help us to achieve our goal. Well, let's start with this one. This one is not one of those 3 things, but it is a really important part of that process. And this is what helps us do the other 3 things, and that is to create our contact list. This list is people that we want to be in contact with. This could be people that we meet on social media. It could be our personal friends and family. But each of us have a contact list. Now, the one that we use probably the most is our phones. Everyone generally has a smartphone, and in that phone, on average, is about 2,000 people. So on average, most people have around 2,000 contacts in their phones. And if you just from that, you should be able to find at least a handful of people that think might benefit from these amazing patches. Now, we oftentimes suggest starting with the ones you know and love first, because they're the ones that know and trust you the most. It doesn't guarantee there's a success, but it certainly is a great place to start. So the first thing you do then with that contact list is you connect. You connect with them, you start to learn about them, you want to build that first contact. Now, if it's someone that you know and love, like let's say your mother, it's going to be really easy to just reach out and say, hey, oh my gosh, I just found this new thing, these amazing patches that have made a big difference in my life. And remember when I told you about that, whatever you named the issue, and it helped with that, and it made a difference. Now all of a sudden you got their attention, right? And you can actually do that fairly quickly because of people that already know and trust you. And of course, if it's someone that you don't know as well, or maybe you haven't seen in a while, you need to connect a little bit more. That could mean that you want to follow up with or catch up with them and find out what they're doing and ask what they're up to and things like that, because they're going to naturally come back and ask you the same things. And that's when it opens you up to being able to share more about what LifeWave is all about. But if you just go into a fresh talk, I mean, I've had this happen even just recently. A good friend of mine that I've known in this industry for a long time, but have been out of contact with for probably maybe, let's just say 10 years, all of a sudden sends me a message and says, hey, I got this great business opportunity. You're going to love it. You got to jump in. We're all jumping in. It's going to be amazing. Right? Well, it would have been nice to have gotten to know him a little bit first, because then you feel like he actually cares a little bit rather than just hitting him up for a business opportunity because, hey, I mean, we knew each other one time a while back, and so always that connection, the better you're connected to that person, the more that they feel that you care about them, the more likely they're going to actually listen to what it is that you're sharing. And then, of course, you want to invite them. And through that connection and connecting and understanding who they are and what they're about is going to help you to know how to invite them. And again, your upline or the person who invited you to this and your mentor can give you exact ways to go about doing each of these things. These are just kind of the basics of it. But most teams have a system that they follow and have specific ways they go about doing each of these things. This is just to kind of give you the basics of it. But invite them to watch a video. Invite them to be on a call with maybe your upline. Just say, hey, I've got a friend of mine who knows a lot more about this than I do. I'd love to get you in connection with them, and they can maybe share a little bit more information. It could any number of things, or hey, hop on this webinar, or watch this video. Depending on what it is that you've noticed that they're going to be most interested in, you invite them to do that thing. And then once you do, and they hopefully do the thing that you invite them to do, you follow up. And you make sure that they find out what they liked about it and find out what worked well, what they were most impressed with. And then you can use that and to then go through the process of seeing if they're interested or not. You always need to ask at the close, meaning that just, is this something you'd be interested in? Maybe they're interested in the business, and maybe they're interested in the product. We have a lot of different people who have different opinions on you lead with product or you lead with business. What I can say is if you lead with product, and they say no, it's really hard to lead with the business. Whereas if you lead with the business and they say no, you can still follow up and say, okay, well, I understand maybe you're not interested in the business, but let's get you started on these amazing products. Again, it gives you something you can still fall back on and follow up with. And so that's one suggestion. Obviously, again, the mentor, the person who introduced you to LifeWave might have something that they would recommend. But this is just some good advice on, the different things. So the 3 things that you should do every single day: connect, invite, and follow up. When we talk about those little bit of pockets in your day and what you should be doing in those little pockets, connect, invite, follow up. Yes, you can watch a webinar for training purposes and things like that, and that's good. But if you're not doing connecting, inviting, and following up, you're not doing what we call income generating activities. Watching a webinar is not an income generating activity. So every single day you need to be doing one of these income generating activities if you want to have the success that you would like. And of course, connect with your mentor, the person who invited you to LifeWave. And maybe that person's not the person who can give you the most information, but there is someone that can be that mentor or is willing to be that mentor in your upline. And I guarantee that there's someone always there that was willing to support and give you that advice. So connect with them, find out what they're doing, what they're teaching. And I guarantee you, when you follow the simple system, it makes all the difference. And again, I just want to touch on this. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but we share. We share these amazing products. We are not selling the products. We share the products. And it makes a difference in how we feel about it, how they feel about it. The more comfortable we are with it, the more comfortable they will be with it. And naturally, when we're selling ourselves more than we are the products anyway. And so when they know and care and love you, there's more likely that they're going to want to find out more about what you have to share, whether they're just willing to try the products or not, or maybe they're just, or they're willing to run with the business. Either way, it's there for them. So you can only control 2 things in life: your attitude and your actions. And so making sure that you have a great attitude in life and then are doing the right actions, which we just talked about, you can guarantee that you can be successful in life. All right. So that gets us through the first 4 steps, and let's finish up with the last one. And we have just enough time in this hour to finish up with this topic. And we will take a few minutes at the end to answer any questions. But this is, I love this quote. That's this: track every action that relates to an area of your life you want to improve. So what is it you want to improve in life? And maybe the thing you want to improve is more activity of those 3 topics we talked about, which is connect, invite, follow up. I want to do those more, and I want to make sure that I'm getting better at it, meaning that the more people I share with it, maybe if I talk to 10 people, and if those 10 people, only one of them is interested when I get started, I would like to maybe get that to where maybe 2 in 10 are listening, or maybe 3 in 10. Now, we have some that because they've been with us for a while and they built some really great skill sets, maybe it's 8 in 10 will join. But whatever that number is, we want to track it and see if I'm improving. And if you're improving, then those are the types of things you want to be looking for, because all winners are trackers. You can guarantee that Michael Jordan, when he was trying to become the best of the best, was tracking his shooting percentage, both in practice as well as in games. Everyone only ever looks at the games, but the real winners track their success even in practices. Because when in those moments when you're practicing, because we always like the statement that practice makes perfect, but that is not a true statement. Only perfect practice makes perfect. And so doing things right and practicing that is what makes perfect. But if we're doing things wrong over and over and over again, it's not going to make it perfect. If that makes sense, hopefully. Okay. Anyways, so consistent actions over time creates motivation and not the other way around. So, and this is what I mean by that. Oftentimes we think that, okay, once I get motivated, then I'm going to do something. But that's not the reality in life. Is nothing. Motivation does not just come by doing nothing or just waiting. Motivation comes by doing. Now, certainly when we go to an event or things like that, we'll come out of that motivated. But what led to that motivation? The fact that we got our butts out of the seats and went and got to that event and we experienced that and we did some things there and we met some people and we talked to people and we come out of it all fired up, right? We're excited. But there's other ways that we can do this every single day that's going to help us to stay motivated. And doing the little things every single day keeps that motivation going, even after the event and everything else dies off. And do you want to know what those 3 things are that you need to do? Hopefully you're already catching on where I'm going with this to stay motivated. Yep. Connect, invite, follow up. Now, I had an opportunity for about a year where I actually did build my own team in another company, and had the opportunity to make those phone calls and to introduce people to that company and to introduce them to the amazing products and everything else. And so I know what it's like. I know how that feels. But I will say this: when you actually take that moment, you actually get a chance to chat with someone, and you get to share with them, and they actually take the products and they try them, and they come back to you and they say, "Oh my gosh, you've changed my life." That's pretty motivating. And now I want to share it with a lot more people. You come off that call or that text or whatever it is, and you are fired up in a way that you can't get in any other way. Why? Because you made a difference in someone else's life. And if that doesn't get you excited, then maybe, well, this isn't the right business for you. So anyway, so consistent action, that's one of the things that really is going to become important. And success is the sum of all the small efforts that we do repeated day in and day out. And so success is the sum of those 3 small efforts we just talked about. Connect, or sorry, we have connect, invite, follow up. Connect, invite, follow up. Those are the small things that you do every single day. And it's day in and day out. You can't take a day off. Even if you're on vacation, you can still spend a few minutes of sending little messages out to people. In fact, a lot of people use their vacations as a reason to say, "Oh my gosh, I just love, we're on this trip, love being here in, let's say, France." They're on trip in France, and it's just love that I can, with the lifestyle that I've been able to achieve. Love to share more about how I'm able to do this, or something. I'm just using something very generic, but the idea is you can use those experiences and those times to be able to share things with people to kind of help build that little bit of excitement about what it is that you're doing. So let's talk about the results of consistency and what happens when we do this over time. Because when we're just getting started and we're building this team and we're putting all the effort in, and we're continually to connecting, follow up, inviting and following up, connect, invite, follow up. We do this every single day consistently. Sometimes we might even feel like we're not making much headway. We're just kind of getting stuck a little bit. Why aren't we? I'm seeing a little bit of growth, but not the consistent growth. I'm seeing all these other people that are getting these top ranks, and when am I going to get there? But this is how it works. And I love that this graph that we see here. This is actually a graph that was provided and created by a gentleman by the name of Darren Hardy, what he calls the compound effect. But this is where we're at right here. Oftentimes, and we're just getting ready to take off, and we think, "Oh my gosh, I've worked this hard, I've gotten to this point, and it's not working. I'm only right here." And oftentimes, this is where people will quit. But what happens if they just stuck with it that little bit longer and stayed consistent just that little bit longer? They start to see what we call the compound effect, where they start to get that growth, and it becomes exponential growth, not just a little bit of growth. And we're to the point where they're like, "Oh my gosh," and everyone's going, "Oh my gosh, look at them. They're an overnight success." I can't remember who it was, but there was a really famous actor said, "Oh my gosh, how does it feel being an overnight success?" And he's like, "Yeah, it took me 10 years of hard work to become an overnight success." Nothing happens easy, but it's the one who stays consistent and consistently does all the right activities day in, day out, every single day, that will then be able to reach what we call this compound effect. And all of a sudden it will take off, and it will grow in a level that you can't even control. And what an exciting time that can be. So step by step, day by day, your choices will shape your actions until they become habits, where practice makes them permanent. And I love that quote as we finish off tonight, because it is the little step by step, day by day, little things that we do, the choices that we make every single day, that is going to determine not just our success here in LifeWave, but determine our life in general. If we're spending our lives on things of value, things that are making a difference, then we're going to be people who will make a difference in this world. If we're doing things that don't make any difference and spending most of our time on that, then we're not going to probably make much of a difference. So we have to make those choices every single day. Where are we at with that? And so that's kind of the end of our webinar tonight. We will take a moment here to answer some questions as well. But before we do the questions, just because we're actually a minute over, I want to do our drawing really quick. And for those of you who are kind of willing to stay on for just a second to be able to answer some of these questions, we'll definitely do that. But let's do a quick drawing, because I know that way if you're just wanting to hop off and don't have time for the questions, you can still have a chance to win. Okay, so we're putting the names back into the randomizer here. All right. And let's see, I'm just waiting for the name to come out. All right, so the name we just got is Cornelia Kerr. I hope I pronounced that right. So Cornelia Kerr. Just go ahead and send again an email to sales@lifewave.com with your information, and we'll make sure that you get that a sleeve of X39 and the 10 empty envelopes that you get to be able to put some of those samples in, and then you can send those out to your friends and family and give them, and it'll be a nice, well put together a sample that you can give them. It's a great way to do it. So thank you all for being on tonight. For those of you who need to run, you can certainly go. We totally appreciate your time being on tonight. And for those of you who can stay or want to stay, I will take just a few minutes to answer some of these questions that we have here also. So I'm just going to quickly just do a quick read through a few of these. So the question is, will this webinar be available for re-listening? If so, what is the link URL for the replay? We don't usually replay these because we do them once a month, and that way each month you can hop on. So if you missed it, we're going to do the same presentation again next month. But occasionally we will upload them to the YouTube page or even play them on our through our Facebook group. In fact, what I will do this week, I'll just tell you now, for those of you who are on, if you maybe came in a little bit late, I saw someone actually say, hey, I got on here a few minutes late, where can I watch this? We will replay this on our Facebook page, and I'll try to get it uploaded tomorrow. So for those of you who'd like to, you can then share it to your teams. And if they're not in the group, they can certainly join the group. They just have to answer a few questions. Okay. Oh, great question. So Melanie is asking, we see that patches are being sold on Amazon and Walmart. Why is this happening? Well, it's certainly not our choice. We certainly don't want them doing it either. Now, as far as Amazon goes, we actually have the ability to get those taken down fairly quickly when they do pop up. We actually own the rights to LifeWave on Amazon. So when someone else pops up a product on there, we can ask Amazon to take it down, and they'll take it down very quickly. When it comes to Walmart, it's a little bit more of the Wild West. Anyone can post anything on the Walmart page. They're trying to set up something similar to what Amazon's done. So sometimes people think it's Walmart actually selling our patches, and it's not. It's just other people who have the ability, just like people can on Amazon, sell their products and services through their website. So unfortunately, that's happening a lot more, and especially as we've shut down Amazon for the most part, now everything's kind of transitioning to Walmart. We have also found that there are in some cases on the Walmart website, the products are coming from China, and they are not our products. In fact, they don't even use the same technology. They're actual, they don't even hardly stick to your skin. And so there are definitely some fakes out there. So when you see something on Walmart.com that looks just like our patches, and it's for $20 or whatever it is, you can almost guarantee they're not our patches, and they're not going to get any benefit from them. And so certainly want to make sure that they buy them from us, buy them from you in general. And if they go through our website, they can guarantee that they're going to get the right patches. Okay, let's see here. So some of the next question is more around David's new technology that he's creating around home power and energizing our homes with power. And this is something that he has mentioned a few times. The question is, how do we get that? What is the power made from and everything else? And that information actually hasn't been shared. And so he's for the purposes of keeping that information private, and also because he's still trying to get patents on some of the technology, we're not at liberty to share that information. But I can say the technology does exist, it does work, and it's going to be something that will definitely revolutionize the energy industry. Okay, let's see. There's let's see, I have one more question here. All right. Well, it looks like, from what I can tell, well, one of the questions here as well, I just saw here. Oh, actually, another one just popped up here. Oh, they're actually answering. So someone asked, what is what the X49 patch do? And someone is actually answering it. Um, Oh, so, and then Cornelia is actually just asking, how does she get her winning? So Cornelia, all you need to do is just send us an email to sales@lifewave.com and we will get that out to you. Okay. Well, it looks like those are all the questions that we have for now. So we want to thank you all for being on again tonight. Certainly grateful for those of you who stuck it out all the way to the end as well. We love and support everything that you're doing with us. We're so glad you chose to be part of LifeWave, and we look forward to catching up with you all again. Certainly, make sure you share this to anybody that's on your team that's just getting started. We do these webinars once a month. It's usually the second Wednesday of the month. This month we had to actually pivot a little bit because David had bumped his webinar to the second week, and so we bumped this one to the fourth week. But next month it will be the second Wednesday of the month, again, as usual. And so we look forward to catching up with all you there again then. So thanks everyone for being on tonight, and we'll have an amazing evening. We'll talk to you all again soon.